What's going on, guys? This is Damien from the Lookout, and I am here with David, who won 3rd place at the European Online Regionals with SS4 Vegito Xeno, with the newest black leader. Congrats, David. How are you doing, mate?
Very well. Very shocked to have come 3rd at the weekend. I wasn't expecting too much. Been very limited in terms of practice with the deck, but it performed very well, much better than I thought it would. I think it caught quite a few people off guard. Some people didn't expect to see it so early, but yeah, it performed fantastic for me.
Awesome. So, guys, this is the newest black leader from BT24. I'm gonna have David explain the deck to you, but I have some questions first. So, why did you take SS4 Vegito Xeno to the event?
For me, I've always based around my playstyle on the black leaders since I started. I'm not an absolute expert, believe me. I've probably played this game properly for about 18 months now. But when this leader got announced, obviously, and a couple of weeks before, we printed off the proxies. I took it to my locals a couple of times, won both of them with it. It's just a very, very overpowered deck, as you'll see, and as a lot of people have seen already. I enjoy it. It's got some sequencing in it that's quite specific, especially to the opening hand, especially for turn 2 and going into turn 2 when you awaken, to put a lot of pressure on your opponent. I find, like, even going in turn 1, I know there's some people, like, there's some rumblings of the turn 1, it might not be ideal, but for me, being the first turn player was actually quite good because, as I'll explain, I put a lot of pressure on people with the energy marker so that they had to bust it quite early. So yeah.
Awesome. So, take us through the deck. Yeah, I'm just gonna shut up now and take us through the deck.
So I'll explain the leader first. So the unawakened side here, the auto is once per turn it'll be a swans. When one of your Son Goku Xeno or Vegeta Xeno cards is using a combo, you draw 1 card. To awaken, you can either awaken on 4 or less life, or if you have a black Z Unison with a specified cost of 2 in play, with that you do a draw 1, untap 1, go down to 6 life. And then the awakened side, the Sparking Patara Warrior. So the permanent is that you can choose battle cards from under your black Z Unison when choosing cards to use with a black cards Union Patara. Can't even say Union Patara correctly. Skill from your hand. This is prevalent in this deck. The whole point of it is kind of you get your Z Unison established, which we'll explain, and then you just get loads of cards underneath it. You tap an energy and you play out the big boy Vegito for it. The auto once per turn also is when your black card with a union skill or black Z Unison card attacks or activates the blocker skill. You can draw a card and it gets 5k power for the turn. This point is so perfect. Like, this point is the best part about it, is because you can draw on both turns. And then the activate battle with the cards underneath, not just your Z Unison, but underneath the Union Patara cards also. You can activate once per turn, use up to start cards with 5k combo power from under your battle cards, or Z Unison, both black, in a combo with their skills negated for the turn. So I'll start with the deck and how I kind of built it and went along with it. So the first cards are the opening gambits for both SS4 Vegito and Goku. So these are simple 1-cost burst ones. Goku being a cantrip, just draw 1, and then the Vegeta being a top 5 search for a Black Saiyan with energy cost of 5 or less. This one's a little bit more annoying because if 6 it'd be even more powerful. With the 5 you can only really search out these cards, anything less obviously, and then the 5 cost overwhelms that come with the deck. So they're them ones. And then I ran this package as well, which is the new Overwhelmed for it. I'll be honest, I was not a fan of it at all. In my updated list that I've done since then, I've actually removed the Vegetas have gone completely. I've put this down, I think, to 2. They're both Overwhelmed 5s. They both have an ability where if you combo with them from your hand and you have a card of the opposite name, so if the Goku you combo from hand, the Vegeta is in the combo areas, and you Z-charge the Vegeta, your Goku goes to the drop, you can actually turn it and put it in your Z energy as well. The Goku Overwhelm is a draw 2 and discard 1 card from your hand, while the Vegeta is just a straight up 20k critter. And as I'll explain as I go through later in the day, there is much better cards than this one, and I did kind of really steer away from using these as my overall targets. The next card we've got is the 5-drop and the 6-drop. So we're going to go through these. So these were much, much better.
Yeah.
These cards are so good. These two. So this is the new set. These are obviously the SRs. So what you've got here on the first, I'll start with the 6-drop because this is the busted card that everyone is really not liking. Well, I like to play it, but going against it, it's horrific. It's a 30k double strike barrier blocker. Cost 1. Just requires Union Potara, so Son Goku Xeno and a Vegeta Xeno. And with the ability of the leader, obviously, if you have these cards under your Z Unison, you can literally tap 1 energy, put both cards from underneath your Z Unison field, and play this in active mode straight away. It's a double striker, and at the end of the turn, the auto limit 1, so you can only actually do it once. If you're on the board, you can't do it with both, you can only do it with them. But with 1, you can burst 2, and then you can restand it for the going into your opponent's turn, so you have your blocker ready. The next card is the 5-drop, so again, another fantastic card. I actually ended up overwhelming this a couple of times in quite a few games. It's a lot more useful than the other cards that I've shown you before. The overwhelm 5 ability is that it's an auto. When you overwhelm, you burst to 2, so either on the overwhelm or on the counterplay. You burst 2, and then when this card plays, you draw a card, and then you Z-charge a card from your hand, and then you can remove something cost of 5 or less. The counterplay, if you have a Z Unison in play with 2 or more markers, the counterplay allows you just to play it for free straight from hand, and gives your leader also 5k for the turn. So it's a free bean, it's free removal, it's a charismatic villain in black. It's a fantastic card, and it hits so much stuff on the board. So the other cards that I kind of ran in this, so that's kind of the main package from what came out with the new set. The other cards that I ran, 3 of the 1-drop Goku cantrips, draw 1. It's a useful card to have, especially when I was digging, and for your opening hand with the mulligan as well. It is ideal that you do get something that you can play initially off the bat. And then we've got the overall target I actually tried to go for. So obviously the standard Beyond All Limits and Heated Fighting Spirit. Again, fantastic card to use in any black deck. Your drop is always full, especially with the amount of bursting that you do. They're both targets as well for your Vegeta, so you can literally overwhelm in this target. Tap 1 with 3 energy, obviously, don't forget that. Tap 1 with the Vegeta, then you've got both in play, swing with both, and then tap another one. You can Union Potara, and then you've got another double K swing coming straight in. A pressure that you can put on your opponent if they don't see it is ridiculous. So, and then we ran one of the Thwart in the Dark Empire just because it's such a fantastic card anyway, but with the added cards of the 4-drops that I shown at the start that cost 1 to play, you've got so many more targets now for this to be played from hand, because you can warp the 4-drops that have got 15k power each now. And then standard, as everyone probably knows, swing, double strike, 25k, warp something on the board. And then we ran standard super combo package of the Vegetas. Again, this was just another target for Union Potara if you just somehow had one in warp and then you didn't have one of the other cards, because it did come up a few times. I ran a copy of the Bardock Tenacious standardly just in my deck. I have one in my sideboard, which I'll explain why, but I ran this just a one-of. And then the card that I actually found that I overwhelmed the most out of all was this one, was the SS4 Goku Otherworldly Infiltrator.
Okay.
I found, so it was just because it's essentially the Vegeta card that you've seen before. And turn 1 play that I always try to find the most ideal would be that I would love, my ideal is always to have at least one of this Vegeta or the Goku in play on my turn 1. The ability of that is that it bursts 1, so I'd have 1 in my drop. My Vegito, on the Unawakened side, I combo with one of these, and I burst another 1, so I have 2 in my drop. The next turn, I'd play another 1 at the start, so I'd have my leader restored, but play another 1 of these, the Goku, because it didn't really matter when you play it, so I'd burst another 1, so I'd have 3 in the drop. And then I'd activate the Unison before. So I'd tap 2 for the Unison, remove 2, so I'd have 5 in the drop at that point. If I had 5 in the drop, I could awaken, have the Unison out, restand 1 energy, and then I'd play this boy straight away. It's a 20k crit and it draws 1. The main thing is that it actually gave me an additional draw, which is just so much more beneficial than the Vegeta. And on top of that, after that, with the 1 stud energy, you've swung with this, you've used the ability of the Z Unison, you've swung with that as well to place cards underneath. You would tap that 1 energy if you had the 6 drop in hand, place them underneath each other with the Vegito on top.
Yeah, okay, that is a very, very insane start.
Yeah, I was getting some opponents down. I'll explain. Like I had one, I think it was against a Soul Striker deck. I made him break the additional energy because he was the second turn player within. By his turn 2, he had to break it because otherwise he was down to 4 lives straight away. And he didn't really want that to happen. And another one is that I've changed up that I've seen in a lot of other people's deck with this is they're playing the Gogeta card. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one that works the same as Thwarting. So it's a 16k blocker, I believe, and it warps something for 4 or less. I didn't play that in this deck for the barrier removal. I just went straight for the Cumber Assailant's Fury. Few reasons for this.
Yeah, the best barrier removal now.
It's the best. With 10 in Z deck, this is the most busted barrier removal for black now. Like you remove everything. Even if you've got the Z Unison out, you've still got 9 in the Z deck. You're still getting rid of anything that's a 9 or less, which is most things. It was very easy to get this in the drop or the warp because the ability is obviously that you need to place a Cumber card underneath that comes from the drop or the warp. You usually bursted 1. If I did have a couple of these in hand, I would combo 1 away anyway, get it into my drop or into my warp. And then the best thing was if I didn't have any in there, but I had like 2 or 3 in my warp, or in my drop, I just played the Goku to bring 1 back because it's between a 3 and a 7. So the Goku would always give me this back to hand, tap 1, play it, remove something with barrier. If I was on 4 energy, swing, double strike, 1 energy. Like, yeah, it's such a good card. Then Secret Rare, I'll go through. Standard Evil Saiyan has to be the best card for black still. Just does so much work in this deck as well. And obviously with the amount of bursting that you're doing, you don't want to hit a Secret Rare that can't be used from your drop or your warp. So it's the staple one for this. And then we go on to the kind of like the negates package and the extras that I used. I had a Supreme Code Time. For me, very standard. I like this card a lot. Costs 1, does a lot of removal, especially against Z battle cards. I don't have barrier because it permanently removes them. A couple of secret rares as well. I've used this in practice with and in games since where they've played them out. I play this, they've lost them already. The Gohan, again, standard black card for anyone wanting a cheeky negate from the drop. And then we had a Super Kamehameha, 2 petrifications. The usual. I actually ran 3 of the Support of the Dark Empire. I like these a lot. I don't know why. I just prefer these as a counter attack for me in the way that I play. It's just a free negate, and it takes a life, and I'm happy with that. And then the last standard card that is expecting this deck was the Cracking Space Time. I won a game with this. Obviously, it's just a brilliant card to use. Leader Swing. Leader Swing with this, you can activate battle, you can combo 2 cards underneath, so you're at 25k, tap 1 for this. You've got a 40k double strike straight away. Yeah, and that costs you 1 energy and 1 card
energy,
from hand.
40 double, that's SCR stats most of the time, so
yeah.
That's just like insane.
So that's the main deck. The Z deck is nothing too special in this. It was very standard in what it was. I ran 2 of the Majin Buus, very good removal. I ran 1 of the Goku, again a very good card. And I'll explain. I got a lot of use out of these cards in this deck. I ran 1 of the new 2 drop. Goku Vegeta. Ran it without really knowing how it worked, I'll be honest, because I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it needed. And I think I was kind of limited in my space with, and that I was like, well, I can just run another boo. But I was like, you know what, I'll try this. I shouldn't get through 3 boos in a game. Surmounting standard, and then the package for the Vegito. So the Vegito card is fantastic. The best Black Unison that there is now. Probably the most busted cards in the newest set as well. It's a very standard card. When this card or one of your black cards with the also with this card or what's it called, the Vegito card, the 6 wing, you can add a marker to this. Then you place 2 black cards from your warp. It specifies black cards, doesn't say battle cards, so it can be anything. You can put your Petries if they're in there, anything useless if you need to, underneath your Vegito. And then the activate main on it each turn, you can discard 1 card from underneath it, back to your drop, and you draw it. So it kind of works like the what's called the Bardock Unison in that regard, but it just does so much work. And if you swing with this, it's a 20k swinger rather than a 15k swinger on your first swing because of your leader effect. And then the last 2 cards that I ran just one of the first Kamehameha Mighty Blast standard black card, and then I ran this one. I ran the Body and Soul. I didn't end up using it. There was a very good tech that it's just a little tech. It's kind of like a one of my guys that I play with called Martin. He told me to play this just because of the activate battle. When you activate battle with this, if it's in play, if you've got a Goku swinger, so let's say you've got the 6 drop, you just want to put a bit of extra pressure on the opposition. You've got him in play, for example. You can swing 35k, activate battle, remove it, burst 2, give him 5k and crit. It was just a little tech for adding extra pressure on. You can give this card, make it a crit swinger instead. So, and then to go on to the sideboard, which is not interesting at all, I'll be honest, because it was very standard. I ran an extra one of the Bardock. Just for anything that was pretty much if I ever felt overwhelmed in any game, or I felt like my opponent could build a quick board quickly against me, I was running 2 of these just in case. Standard Hunt of the Demon God for anything, trying to play anything out for free. Koitskai's ran 2 of as well. Absolutely love this card. 2 of the Gohan changing histories for the blue matchup. 2 Deborah for the green matchup. 2 more Petri. I think I might be one of very few players who play 4 Petris, but when I come against green, I usually put all 4 in. I had a secret ID for anything that I thought would be, again, quite a wide board with low cost. A second Super Kamehameha. One's in the main board, one was in my sideboard. And then the last 2 cards I played, I have no idea why. I think I was just, for some reason, scared of Android 21s being prevalent because it won World, so I sideboard 2 Ghost Warriors, but they are no longer in it anymore.
Awesome. So, thanks for showing us the deck and doing this deck profile. Before we wrap up the video, do you have any shoutouts?
No particular shout-outs. I'm not in any team or anything like that, so I've got no team to shout out. But I do have some people at my locals. So over at Geek Retreat in Leeds. So that's run by Chris. So for him, I play with Martin, Tom, Craig, Laura, all them guys. Thank you every week for keeping me into this game because I'm actually loving it. And thank you to everyone that I met online as well during these games. I met quite a few good people. I played actually in the first round. I lost. Very nice guy. I played Brad, who I think was on Green Gohan. Again, a lovely guy that I met along the way. He even played Peter Dance in the top 4. Even though I got absolutely smoked, that was a great experience.
Awesome. So there you go, guys. This is David's SS4 Vegito. And yeah, if you are interested in the deck planet build is in the description below. Thanks for joining us, and yeah, other than that, this has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.